Once upon a time, deep in the heart of the forest, there lived a young boy named Dylan. Dylan was a forager, and his job was to roam the forest in search of mushrooms to sell at the local market. Dylan loved living in the forest, and he had made many friends among the animals who lived there. He would often spend his evenings sitting by the fire and chatting with the squirrels, rabbits, and birds who would come to visit him. One day, Dylan came across a patch of mushrooms that he had never seen before. They were bright red with white spots, and they looked very strange. Despite his curiosity, Dylan knew better than to eat mushrooms that he didn't recognize, so he left them alone and continued on his way. But as he walked, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. Every time he turned around, he thought he saw something moving in the trees, but when he looked closer, there was nothing there. Finally, Dylan couldn't take it anymore. He turned to face the trees, and in a loud, clear voice, he said, "Who's there? Show yourself." To Dylan's surprise, a small, squeaky voice answered, "It's me, the Mushroom Fairy. I'm the one who watches over all the mushrooms in the forest." Dylan was amazed. He had never heard of a mushroom fairy before, but he was excited to meet one. "Can I see you?" he asked. "Of course," the fairy said, and with a puff of glittering dust, she appeared before Dylan. She was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen, with delicate wings and a gown made of the finest silk. "Why were you watching me?" Dylan asked. "I was watching you because you left the mushrooms alone," the fairy explained. "Most people who come across those mushrooms will eat them, even though they are poisonous. But you showed wisdom and restraint, and that is why I wanted to talk to you." Dylan was pleased to have impressed the fairy, and he asked if there was anything he could do to help her. "There is one thing you can do," the fairy said. "I need you to help me spread the word to others about the dangers of eating mushrooms that you don't recognize. Will you do that for me?" Dylan agreed, and from that day on, he made it his mission to educate others about the importance of being careful when foraging for mushrooms. He would tell anyone who would listen about the mushroom fairy and the lesson she had taught him, and he made sure to warn others about the dangers of eating unknown mushrooms. Thanks to Dylan's efforts, the forest was a safer place for all who lived there. And Dylan was happy to know that he had made a difference, all thanks to the wise and magical mushroom fairy.